Actually, before I flip, what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and throw this side in to do that. Notice my marks here, right? So that other board would be right here. I'm going to go ahead and mill this. That way the sides will match when you're looking at it, if you will, from the end grain. So we're just going to run a duplicate process right now before we actually do the bottom sides. So let's go ahead and tighten that down. So we have our first milling done in terms of setting these up, and you can just kind of see that position. However, there's a lot of fuzz, and I like to take these emery boards or nail file boards and just run through and take that fuzz off. One thing I want to make sure is that I don't round over this edge, because if I want the box to fit flush and tight, so for example, I don't really want to see any kind of difference there. I don't want that rounded over. Now you may want to round it over so that your fingers are able to get in there and pull it apart. So it just kind of depends. Or you could come back and you could file some notches so that your fingers will fit in and be able to separate out. So my recommendation is just sand this flat, especially in terms of any of these edges or burrs that might come through, so that when we put it over, now we're able to machine this side and get that flush and square. As I said, I won't take this all the way down. I'll leave about 1 millimeter because I want another millimeter of thickness on the back side of this. And I don't want to really try and match up my contour edging around here. So I will just take a hand plane. I'll do something as simple as this, right? Or I will use an X-Acto blade or whatever it might be, and then that's how I will actually assemble this and then sand it together so that I can get a nice smooth finish to it. All right, let's get back to work. All right, so we are now ready to face the top. A couple of things. I do have my low profiles, and you'll notice that I've got plenty of space, so I don't necessarily need to cut all of this off. Like I said, if I do, then it makes that base plate here underneath very, very thin. So I'm going to leave at least 1 millimeter on and then just take that off with my hand plane. With this, I'm also going to do just conversational facing, just because it works a little bit faster. But I'm going to base it off of the corner in order to just go through. Those will be some of the elements. I could also do it as a pocket and then set up my pocket in here, and then I won't have to necessarily do all of this if I do a slightly oversized base. So depending on what you cut your dimensional lumber to would be how you would either do a facing or a pocketing in order to clean this out. So those are some of the things to think about. So we're just going to go ahead and clean up this surface. So I just pulled the last one off, and you can see where we're at in terms of our thickness. That's about what I wanted left, was a little over a millimeter. And now I need to just take it out, and I need to, in a sense, knock off these edges. Then I will bring it back in. We will put our hinges in. And from the hinges, then we will put the magnet in. And then once it's all lined up that way, we'll do a final sanding around all of the edges in order to just kind of clean this up. So I'm going to head out to the barn and use my little hand plane and clean this up just a little bit, just because I want to get those edges off. But you just kind of see how easy that came out. And boy, this is light. So we're going to obviously coat it so that it's waterproof, because if it were to drop into the river or into a lake, we don't want the water to ruin that. So let me go out and do a little work. So we're in the barn, and I've got my plane. I've got some of my sanding blocks, flat paper, and a flat table. So I'm just going to stick this in the vise. I won't bore you, but I'm just going to take this down nice and easy so that we can work with putting in the hinges. Now, again, reminder, do not sand everything down until the hinges are in and the box is then in alignment. Then it makes sense to go ahead and sand these in order to get rid of all of the scratch marks, as well as it aligns everything just in case those hinges go in slightly tweaked. So we're just going to go ahead and knock off these edges, and then I'll come back and show you some of the sanding. All right, so now we've got a box, and we've got hinges in, we've got our magnets in as well. And that's really just pressing those in nice and gentle. And the only thing that's really tricky is making sure that these are perpendicular, right, in terms of the alignment or the edge, so that when they open up, it opens up nice and smooth. I like to use the table, and I'm just going to work on sanding back and forth, keeping it flat. Same thing on this side. And you'll find that the end grain is the one that takes the scratches the most, and you really work on that. And then you're just going to drag these corners to get those rounded out. You may decide to knock off the edges here as well, and I would recommend that. That way, when it is slid into the pocket, shirt pocket, vest pocket, anything of that nature, it goes in nice and easy. So again, I just take it and drag it. And then if I'm looking at edges, I may come in and work my edges this way in order to get that sanded. When I was working in the vise, I was using the hand plane in order to take off those edges, but it doesn't really work well on an end grain. That I took to a belt sander, and I did not go all the way because I wanted to be able to finish it in this direction. I need to put some clear coat on this so that it'll be nice and water protected. I want to do the inside as well as the outside, and then we can do some designs if you so desire, as well as any kind of other engravings. We could either do an engraving on the xsTECH or we can do something laser. Let's go ahead and do that next stage.